Today we are taking up the poem How Soon at Time by John Milton. Now, before we get into his work, let's know a bit about his life and the things he wrote. John Milton was born on December 9, 1608 in London, and he died on November 8, 1674 in London. He was an English poet, pamphleteer, and historian. He was considered the most significant English author after William Shakespeare. John Milton was born to parents John and Sarah Milton. He had an older sister Anne and a younger brother Christopher and several siblings who died before reaching adulthood. As a child, John Milton attended St. Paul's School. In his lifetime, he learned Latin, Greek, Italian, Hebrew, French, and Spanish. He attended Christ College, Cambridge, graduating in 1629 with a Bachelor of Arts degree and 1632 with a Master of Arts. Milton is best known for Paradise Lost, widely regarded as the greatest epic poem in English. Together with Paradise Regained and Samson Agonistes, it confirms Milton's reputation as one of the greatest English poets. His other notable works include Comus, Paradise Lost, Areopagitica, Samson Agonistes, Lycidas, Il Penseroso, La Allegro on Shakespeare, Iconoclasts, and History of Britain. Let's have a look at the political views of Milton, which are said to have considerable influence on his work. So, in his prose works, Milton advocated the abolition of the Church of England and the execution of Charles I. From the beginning of the English civil wars in 1642 to long after the restoration of Charles II as king in 1660, he espoused in all his works a political philosophy that opposed tyranny and state-sanctioned religion. His influence extended not only through the civil wars and interregnum, but also to the American and French revolutions. In his works on theology, he valued liberty of conscience, the paramount importance of scriptures as a guide in matters of faith, and religious toleration towards dissidents. As a civil servant, Milton became the voice of the English Commonwealth after 1649 through his handling of its international correspondence and his defense of the government against polemical attacks from abroad. Milton was a Puritan who believed in the authority of the Bible and opposed religious institutions like the Church of England and the monarchy with which it was entwined. He wrote pamphlets on radical topics like freedom of the press, supported Oliver Cromwell in the English Civil War, and was probably present at the beheading of Charles I. Milton wrote official publications for Cromwell's government. After Cambridge, Milton spent 6 years living with his family in Buckinghamshire and studying independently. In that time, he wrote on the morning of Christ's Nativity, on Shakespeare, La Allegro, Il Penseroso, and Lycidas, which was an elegy in memory of a friend who had drowned. In 1638, John Milton went to Europe, where he probably met the astronomer Galileo, who was under house arrest at that time. He returned to England earlier than he had planned because of the impending civil war there. John Milton, the poet of the Puritan age, authored the magnum opus Paradise Lost, as I mentioned earlier. All in all, he composed 24 sonnets in entirety. He invested 6 crucial years in studying works of notable poets such as Petrarch and Virgil, being an ardent devotee of yester-greats. How Soon Has Time is one of the most intriguing and poignant classic poems written by Milton. Now, about the poem, we find John Milton composed How Soon Had Time as a Petrarchan sonnet. The sonnet was penned in wintry December of 1631. As a typified trait of Petrarchan sonnets, the poem's tone shifts in terms of mood and emotions. It reflects his moods, conflicts with beliefs, and personal shortcomings, and most of all, expediency of time. How Soon Had Time is one of the most intriguing and poignant classic poems. The basic premises are time and its cavalier indifference to individualistic attitude, irrespective altogether. The poem starts on a tragic note with Milton looking in retrospect at his years gone by, with his accomplishments running thin as opposed to years usurped. His belief in God remains shaky, as his 2 poems indicate, furthered along by existential crisis externally. Now, on the screen, you have the whole poem for you to see and follow as I explain. The poetic form in which this poem has been written, if you take it, it's a sonnet, basically written in 14 lines, and it's composed in the traditional Petrarchan prose. It's like a traditional Petrarchan prose keeping in conjunction with iambic pentameter analogous to William Shakespeare's couplets. However, his selection of themes for poems differs largely from his contemporaries. Popular contemporaries themes included love and God. John Milton opted for rather pedantic themes such as personal issues, politics, and even friendship. Adhering strictly to form and meter, his poetic emotions remain tightly bottled up. Every verse consists of 5 beats in itself. John Milton has slightly bended the rules for shortening length of the words so as to save the poem's form. Now we look at the first quatrain here. How soon hath time, the subtle thief of youth, stolen on his wing my 23rd year. Now first of all, look at the capital T in line number 1. It has a time with a capital T means personification. So time has been personified as a thief. Thief of what? Thief of youth. Stolen on his wing my 23rd year. Time flies, we say, so obviously time has got wings. So very swiftly 23 years of Milton's life have passed by. My hasting days fly on with full career, but my late spring no bud or blossom showeth. He says, my days, my years are flying with full speed, but my late spring, obviously late spring is a reference to his very young looks. He didn't look his age at all. So he says, although I have become 23 years, I have brought forth nothing. I have written no good works in praise of God to show my talents. Now we come across the image of late spring that suggests late youth. The poet is 23 years old now, so he has attained late youth, but the poet's late youth bears neither buds nor blossoms, which is a suggestion of no production by way of writing poetry. As a matter of fact, Milton himself did not belong to the class of prolific writers. He wrote slowly and had a few poetic works in his poetic career, ranging from 1629 to 1639. Thus, the poet overcomes his regret, leaving an impression of his own puritanism, his absolute faith in providence. Neither at the same time he has personified time here, nor as their bird, but as the guide, the harbinger of destiny. As a result, this sonnet blends paganism and Christianity in harmony. Now, John Milton was a staunchly religious person, considering himself a missionary to God's noble cause. Awaiting divine intervention is evident in his first lines. See, he says, how soon had time, the subtle thief of youth, as well as in another sonnet released after his subsequent blindness. He said, when I consider how my light is spent. And that's another sonnet. He awaits divine inspiration in his poetic publications. As the poem starts in a lamentable tone, he begins with, how soon had time, the subtle thief of youth. He feels betrayed by the speed at which youth and time have left him with years past, not recording an achievement of substantial value. Career-wise and artistically, he has yet to produce his masterpiece and make a stamp on history. Now, most critics and contemporaries would deem him as impatient and ungrateful, having accomplished more than his contemporaries and future critics, and studied poetry linguistics for 6 years privately. And knowing all these languages like Greek, Latin, English, French, German, Hebrew, Spanish, Italian, Aramaic, and Syriac, it obviously shows his apparent humility and measurement criteria. Only a handful of writers have published lifelong classics at an early age, including John Keats, Fitzgerald, and Rimbaud, while most other published their epic works in later years. Yet in a different poem, he touches upon this aspect. In his lyrical poem Lycidas, dedicated to his drowned colleague, he continues in the same lamentable tone again. Looking at the second quatrain, perhaps my semblance might deceive the truth. So he says, may my appearance may hide the truth that I have become, I am already 23 years, that I to manhood am arrived so near. He says, I am so close to manhood, my appearance does not show it, it might hide it. And inward ripeness doth much less appear. He says, I might look immature from outside, but from inside I am actually very mature, that some more timely happy spirits endureth. He says, this is a direct linkage to his collegiate years, where his feeble physical structure was deemed as girlish and feminine, resulting in his earning the title of the Lady of Christ. As I said, he was studying at Christ College now. With a feminine overall outlook, he continues to underestimate himself in a comparison to contemporaries, having accomplished much more in his prime age. He ends his tragically toned lament with having faith in God for assisting him in his quest for greatness. In another poem on his blindness, he lovingly accepts God's will in his divine scheme of things, bestowing his fellow men as he pleases. As he indicates, my great taskmaster has sealed his fate. John Milton's monotonous tragic sonnet has tones of ambition and spell out his religious bent. Now, these are things which we will see in the later lines. Now let's look at the sestet, the first three lines. Yet be it less or more, or soon or slow, it shall be still in strictest measure even to that same lot, however mean or high. He says, whenever I make a production, literary production, it may be less, it may be more, it may be very soon that I'll produce, or maybe very slowly I'll go about it, but then it shall be in the strictest measure even. Now this has a biblical reference, I'll tell you now, to that same lot, however mean or high. He says this is a direct indication of Jesus' parable for God's reward for all those reporting for duty on time and slightly late on time. God, being all knowing and kind, views his pupils as equals. It is also an indirect attack on God's double standards ever so delicately, meaning those who come early and those who come late get the same wages. Now, next, the sestet continued, toward which time leads me and the will of heaven. So, whatever production he is going to make, he is being led by time and he is being led by God towards it. All is, if I have grace to use it so, as ever in my great taskmaster's eyes. So he says, whatever I get, whatever qualities I have, if I have that grace to use it in the praise of my great taskmaster. God is being here referred to as the taskmaster, you see. Milton mentions this discrepancy in his concluding lines, albeit with certain delicacy. If I have grace to use it so, he creates some ambiguity regarding his poetic grace. The grace could be within him or God gifted. Using the word have, he is conflicted on whether his poetic talents are at his own command or God's will. This shows slightly negative attribution in his poem that is later found in Paradise Lost also, where Eve's epithet for God is our great forbidder. It shows veiled criticism to God's so-called willpower and judgment traits. Milton was an ardent advocate of this ideology in his lifetime. Young Milton was conflicted of God's role in life and its consequent play with freedom and free will, obedience and justice flowing freely in Milton's published works. Now, if you look at the poetic structure of this poem, each stanza of the poem consists of 4 verses fitting the iambic pentameter aptly. It succeeds in garnishing cohesive thoughts in its entirety. The biblical connotations towards the concluding verses strengthen the airy symbolism in initially lighter verses. The rhyming pattern is slightly off the charts, with initial 8 lines adhering to ABBA pattern, while the remainder verses are adherents to CDE DCE pattern. The rhyming patterns are coherent with diverging belief systems. Youth rhymes with showeth, while truth rhymes with endureth. Similarly, appear, near, career, ear also rhyme together. Initial 8 verses reflect doubt and melancholia, while last 6 verses reflect resolve and immediacy. If you look at the theme, Milton's theme is basically time and youth in this poem. In the sestet, he, however, hopes that sooner or late, less or more, his spirit shall be equal to the same lot as other spirits have had in youth. However, high or low time will lead him to the same fate by the will of God. If he has grace to use his talent, he will prove successful in the eyes of God, who is the great taskmaster. Now, if you have any questions on this particular poem, please place it in the segment below and I shall answer them. Thank you.